returned to federal prison. Were there any justice in the world, he would have died there. After performing his community service, James Tate left Washington State.
Good morning, Night City! Yesterday's body count lottery rounded out to a solid and sturdy 30. 10 out of Haywood, thanks to unabated gang wars. One officer down, so I guess you're all screwed, because the NCPD will not let that go. Got another blackout in Santo Domingo. Net runners are at it again, poking holes in the power grid. While over in Westbrook, trauma teens scraping cyber psycho victims off the pavement. And in Pacifica, well, Pacifica is still Pacifica. This has been your man, Stan. Join me for another day in our city of dreams.
Hey, baby girl. What's this? You want some of the smoky bourbon hot sauce?
Stumbled a zombie. Well, that's how ill she looked. Too many sweets? I asked, smiling. I got a groan and a glare from her in reply, but suddenly the sound of a loudspeaker rattled through the restroom. The park is now empty. Can all maintenance staff please start their duties? Come on, I said, leading her out of the bathroom. The park was empty. It gave the place an eerie feel, but I still took the opportunity to take pictures. You're not supposed to be in the park after hours. It's against the rules. We explained what had happened, and he smiled. Oh, I'm sorry, just a misunderstanding, he said. He smiled in reply. He told us to follow him, and he'd take us to the exit, so we did. Here's the exit in here. We were standing in front of a wooden door with a gold plaque that read, "Staff room. No unauthorized personnel." The janitor opened the door and proceeded inside. The room was huge. A soft white carpet was laid on the floor. The walls were painted ruby red. A small coffee table sat in the center of the room, surrounded by sofas. A large portrait of Walt Disney hung above a set of drawers. The old man instructed us to stand at the wall the drawers were at, so we did. He opened one of the drawers, and my friend vomited all over the immaculate carpet. I just widened my eyes and stood away from her. She looked up at the janitor, who was also taken aback by her projectile vomiting. She apologized and said she wouldn't pay for the carpet cleaning. The old man smiled and shook his head. He said it was fine and that he'd get it cleaned. He then came and stood next to us. Suddenly, a portion of the wall slid into the floor, revealing an opening to another room. My friend and I got pushed into the room and the door slid back up. More portraits of Walt Disney were scattered on the wall. Only this time in the picture, he was dead. Someone in the Mickey Mouse costumes, who would usually go around the park, hung from the ceiling. Dried blood that was yellowed in places stained in the costume. Also, the floor and walls were a deep shining red. My friend and I were backed up against the wall. Wardrobes were lined up against one side. There must have been 20 or more of them there. My friend and I stood motionless and silent as we stared around the room. Across from us, an emergency exit door was there. You could have sworn it wasn't before. Natural instinct took over, and both my friend and I sprinted towards the exit and started to push it with all our might. It wouldn't budge. Suddenly, a creaking noise came from our left. One of the wardrobes had swung open. We spun on our heels, not knowing what to expect. A lifeless Mickey Mouse costume stood in the wardrobe. A large sticky note stuck to his stomach. Writing was inscribed on it. My friend walked slowly towards the costume, making barely any noise. I followed a few feet behind. I then noticed that my shoes were making a sort of squeaky noise, like when you're walking in a muddy field. Then it clicked. The shining red carpet was drenched in blood. Disney is watching, my friend said. What? I whispered. That's what it says on the... After the half sentence, she let out an ear-piercing scream. I quickly looked up from my feet. The Mickey Mouse costume was holding on my friend's wrist. I screamed her name and ran towards her when suddenly I slipped on the carpet. Then all the other cupboard doors flew open, and one even fell off its hinges. More Mickeys stumbled out. They all turned towards my friend, and like a magnet, they thumped towards her. They were all positioned in a circle around her, with one in the center, holding her head. She was trying to escape, but failing. The Mickey in the middle looked towards me, and that's when I noticed its eyes. They weren't the normal ones that the characters around the park usually had. They were real, human eyeballs. Then, suddenly all the circling Mickeys jumped into my friend, and blood flew across the room. I turned and ran towards the wall that we had gotten pushed through. I noticed a red button on the right where the opening should be. Again, I hadn't seen it before, and I slammed my hand on it. The door opened and the original room before appeared. I ran through and reached for the door that led to the park. Suddenly, Mickeys floated through the door, knocking me down. I shuffled back and was stood in the corner, Mickeys surrounding me. I was doomed. Then I saw an opening between two of them. I saw my chance and took it. Like a football player, I sprinted through the Mickeys and then out the door, and was free. I ran through the park, and when I looked back, they were sprinting towards me. Then I saw a Mickey without his matching head. It was replaced with the head of my friend. I turned my head back around and spotted the gate.
I'm gonna have to stop my live stream, guys, though, since we're talking. Oh shit, I dropped my phone.